Getting ready. First, we need to make sure our clay has the right amount of water, making sure it's not too wet, so not sticking to our hands, or too dry, crumbling apart. If we need to add water, remember just a couple sprays at a time. We always want to start with our clay in a nice ball, smoothing out, making sure it's not just clumped together like this. Then we want to get the air bubbles out, so getting a little piece of clay, putting it in a ball, and gently throwing it down at the table. We do not want to go super hard like this, because that will start to flatten our clay and not keep it in a ball shape. So just gently throwing it down to get those air bubbles out. Why our clay breaks. Reason 1, it is too thick. If our clay is too thick, it will not dry properly. So to have it thinner, if you have a thick part, you need to hollow out the inside. You could do that by sticking your finger in and putting space inside. Reason 2, too thin. If the clay is too thin, it will dry too fast and fall off. It needs to be about as thick as your pinky. So making sure every part is as thick as your pinky. Reason 3, attaching our clay. When we go to put our clay on, if we don't attach it properly, it is just going to fall off when it dries. We need to do our 3 steps. First, scratch. Take a toothpick and scratch into the parts that you are going to put your clay together. Second, add slip. Slip is just clay mixed with water. You're going to take a little bit, not a lot. You only need a little bit, a little finger's worth, and rub it over the top of the parts that you added scratches to. Lastly, smooth. Only once you have scratched and added slip, then you attach your 2 parts together and smooth them out, trying to get rid of the line that you see between them. Wiggle test. To check to make sure it's a proper attachment, do a wiggle test. If it stays on, it's good. No matter how small a part you are adding to your clay, you need to do scratch and slip and smooth. If you do not do those things, it will not stay attached. So always scratching on both sides, adding some slip, and then smoothing them together. There are 3 main building techniques. First, pinch pot. Start by taking a good sized chunk of clay and turning it into a ball, trying to get it nice and smooth by rolling it around. Once you have a smooth ball, take your thumb and stick it almost all the way through the ball. Then you're going to take your fingers, making sure all fingers are together and they're nice and straight, not one finger or not curled fingers, but nice and straight fingers, so you're going along the whole side of the ball. Then you're going to pinch or squish your fingers together and turn the ball so that the hole in the inside gets bigger and bigger, making sure you're pressing along the whole inside and whole outside. You do not want to pinch just the top, because then it's going to make it too thin. Pinch pots are great for making cups or bowls. You can add them to make shapes of different animals, or you could put 2 pinch pots together to make a different shape. Our second building technique is coils. Start with less clay than you did for the pinch pot and start rolling it with flat hands to make a long snake. Make sure it's as thick as your pinky. Then you can spiral it together and keep making coils, and you can add coils on top of each other so that you build it higher and higher. You can keep adding coils until you get the size and shape that you want. Then you can take your slip, again, just putting a little finger on, and smooth out the coils if you don't want to see the different lines, or you could smooth out the inside so you still see the lines on the outside. Coils are great for building taller sculptures, still to make cups or different things, and you can use different kind of coils like spirals to add decorations. Our last building technique is slabs. Just like our other building techniques, we want to start with a nice smooth ball. Then you're going to take the rolling pin and push it into the ball of clay. Start gently rolling it back and forth, but make sure you do not go right off the edge. This makes our slab an uneven thickness, which is not good. So use your rolling pin to roll along the clay, stopping before it gets to the edge, and always picking up your clay every couple of rolls, otherwise it gets stuck to your desk. Keep going until your clay is about as thick as your pinky. I made mine a little bit too thin, so I should have stopped earlier. Once I have my slab, I can cut it into any shape that I want. So I can use a toothpick to draw out my shape first. I can erase it if I don't like it. And then once I have the shape I want, I can press harder to cut all the way through the clay with the toothpick. Then I can just peel off the outside to get the shape on the inside. I could put lots of different slabs together to create some great flat shapes. Slabs are great for making flat shapes that you could add textures to, or you can curl them together, or you could put multiple slabs together to create a box-like shape. I cannot wait to see your clay creation.